Are we ready to get going?
I think so. Take it away.
Well, welcome everybody to January's Park and Recreation Commission meeting. We'll get started with the roll call to make sure we have quorum. So I am here and we'll just go down the list. Commissioner Heath.
Hi, I'm here.
You.
Hello.
Commissioner Kerr.
Hello.
And Commissioner Layden. Do we not have Commissioner Layden? I don't see it. Commissioner Martin.
Looks like he just had to drop off and is going to try to rejoin. He couldn't hear us.
Okay. Commissioner Smith.
I am here.
And Commissioner Stackhouse.
Here.
Great. We want to wait for Commissioner Martin to get back in.
Commissioner Layden may be back in too.
Commissioner Layden, are you there? Let's see. Are either Commissioner Layden or Commissioner Martin back on?
You can see both in the people participants, but not sure. Commissioner Layden and Commissioner Martin, can either of you hear us?
I can now. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
We're just taking roll call, so we'll take it that since you responded, you are here.
Commissioner Layden is needing to depart again, so may try to re-enter the commission meeting soon.
Okay. Well, we'll just go ahead and I'll read the land acknowledgement then and wait for her to return. So the Flagstaff Parks and Recreation Commission humbly acknowledges the ancestral homelands of this area's indigenous nation and original stewards. These lands still inhabited by native descendants, border mountains sacred to indigenous peoples. We honor them, their legacies, their traditions, and their continued contributions. We celebrate the past, present, and future generations who will forever know this place as home. All right. That's lovely. So approval of minutes. Have all the commissioners had a chance to review the past month's minutes and have anything you want to add or bring up? Yes, no?
I
Or
make a motion to approve the minutes.
very good. We have a motion by Commissioner Martin. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Very good. We have a motion to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. So it sounds like we have approval of the minutes. Thank you much. Public comment. This portion of the meeting is for items that are not on the agenda. The commission cannot act on items presented during the public participation of the agenda. The commission is prohibited by open meeting law from discussing or considering the item until the item is officially placed on an agenda. Please limit comments to 5 minutes. Do we have anybody in the audience who wants to present something or public comment? Let's see. I take that as a no. Do you see anyone there, Amy or Rebecca?
I do not. I was just doing one last search and I do not see anyone.
Okay. Very good. I didn't check. Do we have a council member Harris on board today? See her.
I do not see Councilmember Harris either.
Yeah, just sorry, I forgot to check that earlier. Anyhow, well, very good. We can get on to our first item on the agenda, which is item number 6, chair and vice chair vote. So, anyone want to, how do we go about doing that, Amy?
Well, y'all gonna have to vote. I could certainly do some type of chat vote, but I'd love to avoid that if that's okay. So we do need to elect, I believe, both a chair and vice chair for the next term. We're currently, if not mistaken, I believe Commission or Chairperson Parsons, you are the chairperson right now with Commissioner Martin, you are co-chair, correct?
We didn't ever vote on that. It was
It
always,
just kind of became acting,
it-
yeah.
It was Commissioner Parsons was co-chair when our chairperson, Ricky, left. So the co-chair just stepped in.
and I'm happy
Assume
to,
those roles.
I'm happy to continue as the chair if everybody's amenable to that.
So
I
I think
nominate
first let's do,
Commissioner Parsons for chair.
yeah, so first let's do chairperson and then we can do vice chair. So it's first item, I guess, on the table is all the yays for the lovely
Well-
Stephen Parsons to be our chairperson.
We have a nomination. I think we need a second.
I'll second.
So Commissioner Stackhouse seconded the motion.
Alright, and now
And
And
vice
now you need
chair.
a vote.
So we
Well,
need
now
a,
you need a vote.
all in favor of me continuing as chair? Vote yay, yay.
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 Aye. Yeah.
Any nays out there? It's okay. So that's me for chair. Thank you very much. I accept that responsibility humbly. So thank you. So for co-chair, I believe Commissioner Martin, you were interested in that. If you're interested in that, I would feel free to nominate
I am
Placeworth.
happy to do it unless anyone else wants to.
I will second Parsons, so.
I thought we had other interest as well, so let's make sure everyone has a chance.
That's true.
Yeah,
Is there-
I'll get on there if that's like a potential opening.
I'm fine with that.
What would you prefer, Commissioner Martin?
I am more than happy to play support. So if anyone else wants the opportunity to play it, they are more than welcome.
Okay. Commissioner Kerr, you said you were interested, correct?
Yeah, I'd be interested in that.
Okay.
I nominate Commissioner Kerr.
And I'll second for Commissioner Kirk.
Okay. All those in favor of Commissioner Kerr as the new co-chair, say aye.
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 All those not in favor, say nay. Do we have any? Does not look like we do, so congratulations. Thank you for stepping forward as Commissioner Kerr. So
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for the opportunity, everyone.
awesome. And so moving right along, we've got now our Aquaplex supervisor update. Take it away.
Hi, everyone. I'm Ryan Reynolds. I've been the supervisor over here at the Aquaplex since April of 2022. Prior to that, I was actually a recreation coordinator over at the J. Lively Ice Rink for about 5.5 years. As for the Aquaplex itself, just kind of a bit of information. We do provide day pass and use in 1, 3, 6, and 12-month membership opportunities for guests. Our amenities include a pool for lap swimming, water walking, and general swim for all ages. We do have a fitness area for working out, gymnasium with varying open at basketball, volleyball, and pickleball hours, a rock climbing wall, as well as a babysitting area called Kids Club for guests to drop off children ages 6 months to 11 years old while they utilize the facility. We do also have meeting rooms and a party room adjacent to our pool area that guests can rent for meetings and various parties. We also offer a wide array of fitness classes, including, but definitely not limited to, water aerobics, yoga, Zumba, which we just recently re-implemented, and group cycling. We are also unique in that we're a cost recovery facility as mandated by City Council. So we're expected to make at least 70% revenue compared to the overall annual spending. This affects pricing that we charge just to ensure that we can meet this goal for each fiscal year. And then just kind of an update, we're currently in the middle or nearing the end of our January discounted membership drive. So to date, we've sold 636 memberships, totaling over $54,000. And just to compare that to a usual month, in December, we sold 182 memberships, totaling $12,300. So yeah, just kind of a breakdown of what we have and myself as well. This is new for me, so not sure if there's any questions or anything like that out there, but wanted to at least get that opportunity to introduce myself to you all. And thanks for having me.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Reynolds? Can you give us an update? Are there any improvements or additional programs that are coming up this upcoming year that you're implementing?
So we did just start, well, upcoming in February, we'll be doing private and semi-private swim lessons. So those are pretty much all full now, but Tuesdays, Monday, Wednesday, and Tuesday, Thursday, there's 10 a.m. and 12 p.m. and 7:15 p.m. swim lessons, 30 minutes each. So people sign up and, for the month. And kind of what we've switched up a little bit in the past, it's kind of just almost been continuous, but we've realized that we end up getting long wait lists where eventually people are waiting months on end to get in and be able to get going on that. So we are limiting it to that month now, which I'm excited for, just to, again, ensure everyone gets that opportunity. So that's exciting to get going. We are planning a little kind of beach themed pool party that basically people can sign up ahead of time, ensure a spot. We're targeting February 24th, a Saturday, to get that going. And then, yeah, lots of fitness classes have been re-implemented, which has been exciting, especially just in that time that I started in April 2022. We were pretty limited still due to COVID. But yeah, like I said, we've implemented the water aerobics, Zumba just recently, yoga classes. We've got an introduction to weight training on Saturdays now. So that's really exciting for us. Yeah, and then just in general, when the summer comes, that's always our busy time of year. So making sure we have as much staffing in as we need, especially for lifeguards and things like that. So we're going to have a good jump on that. And then we always have group swim lessons each year that are very popular. So we're already kind of getting all that planned up for sure coming up.
Oh, great. As far as the membership drive, how does this year's membership drive compare to previous membership drives for the month of January?
So definitely improvement over last year. We still were kind of, again, a little bit in the COVID era. People are a little nervous kind of coming back with all that. So we've seen an improvement there, not quite to the extent, I think, prior to COVID, where we're still working to build up. I know we would get closer to kind of like I think around $100,000 for the month. And then just general higher membership totals, but definitely seeing improvements over the last couple of years for sure.
Great. Anyone else have any other questions? Commissioner Martin? Go ahead.
Hi there. You guys do a great job. I'm a frequent patron over there, so I see your work and it looks great. You guys do a great job, and I love all the amenities that you guys add to the weight room each year. I do notice them, and I love the new cleaning programs with the sprays and the cloth versus the disposable wipes all the time. It makes it a lot easier to clean up after yourself. So I think you guys are doing great, and it seems like it is definitely getting busier, so that's good news overall. So thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Ryan. Appreciate it.
Anybody else? Any comments or questions for Ryan? No? Thank you, Ryan. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Keep up the good work.
Absolutely.
All right. Next thing is the open space joint meeting agenda. Amy, you want to walk us through that? What our thoughts are, or Rebecca?
Sure, I'll try and get the verbal party started on this. So we have, so, and I think everyone's participation on this will be key as far as commissioners, but we have an joint meeting next month with Open Space Commission. And I think that, I think it'll be an excellent meeting, getting these two commissions together. But I think that we need to come forward with it, with, anyone chime in here, but maybe it's a little bit of a snapshot on what the Parks and Recreation Commission has worked on in the past. And what I was thinking about was like our priorities, process and strategy that we went through that helped create the 5-year BBB recreation capital plan that we looked at last month, and can always show that for reference, just to give an idea on some of the things that this commission has been working on. I'm guessing, and Rebecca may have some information because she does attend the Open Space Commission. I'm not always there, but I'm gonna guess that we may hear the same from Open Space Commissioners. Here are the things they've been working on. And I think it's important for us to discuss, are there any opportunities for both these commissions to be tackling any hard subjects on, and any of the synergy between both commissions too might be smart to discuss. Those are just some of my ideas, but honestly, this opportunity is for the two commissions and the groups of commissioners to get together and hold a joint meeting. The last time, just for, because a lot of commissioners may not have been on Parks and Rec Commission, last time these groups had some synergy together was in the calendar year, late 2019 into early 2020, when there were some select members from both commissions working on a large committee together with city staff regarding a potential bond, suggestion for city council. And I think that's when we realized there was a lot of synergy between the two groups. And anyone take any of those ideas from there, or any ideas you maybe had, because it's really, I think, the commissioners meeting to have with Open Space Commission next month and discuss whatever you'd like.
I agree with the synergy. That's kind of what was on my mind. Does anyone else have anything else that they were thinking of? Commissioner Martin, you got your hand up, I see.
Amy, can you remind us of the date and time for that meeting?
I can, so that's going to be February 26th. So toward the end of the month, 4 p.m. here at the Aquaplex, or would have a virtual Teams link too.
Okay, that makes sense. I guess, I wasn't a part of that group of people that met together with the open space. So I don't fully remember what was the ended up goals in which they decided, but Some things I can think of that where we pair off a lot is like any of the foot trails, and particularly in programming, you know, like the programming at Picture Canyon, they have like an outdoor classroom there and those type of things. So I can see us communicating on those fronts pretty well.
And I know they've been working on that Observatory Mesa trail master plan. So, you know, hearing more from them on that and how we can participate if there's any overlap there. So,
Plus, one little nugget to drop for this group, the entire Parks, Recreation, Open Space and Events Division, we have an opportunity to put together our division master plan. So that would include our open spaces as well, so that we could see some future conversations and synergy once that master plan starts to kick off.
okay. Anybody else have any thoughts?
What is and I don't, maybe you know this, Rebecca, what is the Observatory Mesa master plan? I'm sorry, I'm out of the loop on that one. What is that?
So I'll chime in. The city owns about 2,000 acres up. It's above Thorpe Park, near Lowell Observatory. And they are working, the Open Space Commission is working on a trail plan to formalize some trails. There's a whole lot of social trails up there. So they're looking to, and it's just kind of an unorganized
I ride my bike.
mess right now. And so they're looking at what trails to formalize, what trails to restore, what signage would need to go up and where. Yeah. So I agree that would be a good report out that staff can provide on that process.
I most likely won't be able to attend that date due to conflicting schedule with school, but I am interested in seeing, like, particularly when you guys talked about, when we did talk about the master plan for the Observatory Mesa, there was the incorporation of the electric bike or like a commuter trail. See what their viewpoint, open spaces viewpoint, and see if maybe we can give more like opinion on the subject. I know we didn't really, I don't know, remember if we said very much about it.
Yeah, we can ask for that to be included in the presentation. And just no decisions have been made yet. They're still very much in the midst of reviewing it and making recommendations and asking a lot of questions. So this is good timing.
Maybe to add that on top of that, Rebecca, is that I think there's a lot more foot trails being used commuter wise than we possibly think. Do we have any, I know you guys do the trail data every month. Do we have any trail data that backs that up? I know we have, you know, we have a lot of data, but I don't know if we're seeing any predictors that are maybe suggesting that some of them are being used more commuter wise than recreation only.
I can jump in there on that, Commissioner Martin. So out of the 59.5 miles of urban trail in our system today, not every single mileage is considered a commuter trail. I think our commuter trails will typically be a hard surface, so asphalt or concrete, not necessarily aggregate. Doesn't mean aggregate ones are not used to get to point A to B for a lot of our community members. So I think what's identified, at least from a multimodal perspective, to be a commuter trails would be the Route 66 trail, the 180 trail. I'm not 100% confident that, and those are both somewhat linear and they don't get you everywhere. through town, but I think those would be our two biggest ones that the city would consider commuter segments. Doesn't mean that there are not more, because there really is not one that goes north-south unless you start to include what's on NEU's campus outlined with the spine and some of those connection points there. There is a trail that goes basically from Lake Mary Road along John Wesley Powell and then along Lone Tree, that could maybe be at that level. We had trail counters there. They were not showing the numbers, surprisingly, which honestly staff were surprised about. But so we did move trail counters to the Route 66 trail. It's been maybe almost 12 months of calculating those counts because we were really curious. I believe that we'd like to put one out on the 180 trail so that we could start to ascertain some of those numbers to have a good idea how used that trail system is. And then we do currently have one along Lone Tree, which is just like John Wesley Powell, not showing high numbers, real surprising. But so yeah, the idea would be to start to move some of these around. Maybe we even honestly move the one from Buffalo Park because we consistently see it's our highest, it's our highest used area, and we're seeing averages that are pretty similar month to month, no matter the weather or climate. So maybe we honestly relocate that one to one of these other locations or anywhere. If there's I think it'd be though a best practice to have a location for at least a 12-month period to really get an idea of how that part of the trail is used and then go on to the next location. I hope that answered your question.
It does mostly. Is the commuter trail just more like a like layman's designation? Does it mean anything significant? And is there anything along goes with that? Or is that just?
I think a commuter trail, it is just a term. There is no city definition to that, but I think in general, the hope would be that it's multimodal. So maybe it's got connection points to public transportation system, or gets a commuter from one part of the city limits to another. So you'll see, I think, a long linear stretch, if you will, or a great length to a
Okay.
commuter type trail. I think that's how Route 66 or the 180 trail segment serve some of those needs to some of the corners of our community. We just don't have what I would consider commuter trails going to all of them.
Yeah.
And I think some of them then fall to that more recreational use, especially as they wind through neighborhoods, even get you from one neighborhood to another. I don't see that really as a commuter trail.
I don't want to get off any more on topic, but one suggestion I do have, because I live by it and I see it. There is a trail from, what is the firehouse? Firehouse number one or three. It's off of Ponderosa Parkway. There's a commuter trail that goes all the way up to the Mesa. And I see that one is being frequently used by those neighborhoods up down to the bus stops that are on 66. Maybe that can be considered, but I don't know if maybe they would be interested in talking about that and with the focusing on those trails with regarding the Joint Commission, but that does answer my question. Thank you.
I think the trail's a good idea to bring up because the trail goes through all of the open spaces.
How you access open space.
Thanks, Commissioner Martin, for all the questions. That's very good. Anybody else have anything they want to bring up or add to the agenda for next month's joint meeting?
Could we discuss the accessibility of trails too?
Oh, that's a good topic. What are you thinking?
Just like ADA accessibility, and how that crosses over and how that might overlap with us.
I think we could bring it up as it's a large topic. I think the difficult part is it's a completely different department at the city that delivers these trails, brings them forward as a capital project, and then Parks, Recreation, Open Space, and Events are responsible for the maintenance of them. So it could be some sensitive waters to get into regarding, especially with an existing system of nearly 60 miles and accessibility on that. It's a big conversation to have. Doesn't mean that it's not unwanted. I think we would might need some additional guardrails on bringing that topic up.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Commissioner Stackhouse has a comment.
I don't know it because we have a lot of things that we want to know from them, but was there any request, like information that they wanted out of our commission, or is this more for us to find out what they're doing? Was there something that we needed to prepare for next month?
So I can jump in on that. That's kind of why I had raised my hand. So thank you for the segue. It's like
That's why
planned
you're on.
that.
Because
That's totally planned
we're
right
gonna
there.
high five right there.
Here we go. We can do it.
We don't even have to do it virtually.
So Amy brought it up when she was introducing the topic about the priorities that this commission has established and how you went through that process. I think a good thing to do is take that one step further and talk about the PROS BBB recreation 5-year plan and what's funded based on those priorities and feedback. And then that also kind of just gets us into the budget realm, and it's perfect time to talk about budget because that's what we're waist high in right now, if not treading water right now. So we'd be happy to provide some budget updates on both sides. Typically with Parks and Rec Commission, we take some time in February or so to fill you in on what our projects are planned for the next year, with our base allocation of funding as well as our capital funding. And then we can talk about the BBB tax renewal that'll be coming up in both commissions. In my opinion, will be critical in helping to get the word out about that tax renewal and the benefit to our community members and quality of life. You will hear more about that in the coming months, but this could all kind of set the groundwork for that conversation in the future as well.
So specifically, was there one of the items or items?
So budget was one that they requested to cover jointly.
Okay.
They
Is it
also
like a
just
project?
want to know what you all are doing
Oh,
and what Parks and Rec is doing. So this project list will be good for them as well.
okay.
Commissioner Martin?
I didn't know if they took issue with anything that we had prioritized over something else, or if
No, I think they're just curious,
Sure.
kind of like you guys are curious about what they're working on. I think they're just curious about what you all are working on.
Great. Commissioner Martin, did you have something you wanted to add?
I did. I had a question actually. Regarding the budget, are we only planning on talking about that separately, or I mean jointly? Are we only planning on talking that in February, or will that be a future topic in March as well?
I'll leave that one up to Amy.
Because I am curious if there's been budget changes.
There have not been budget changes. You know, we've got our 5-year capital plan that we devised, and that is moving forward as currently requested. You know, I don't foresee any large changes. There could be something that staff could bring back to this commission though, and whether if it's a reprioritization or if something comes up that has a more urgent aspect to it, I think that it needs to be talked. You know,
Yeah.
we need to talk about it, right? I don't have anything that without a doubt that I feel like we'll be coming back to the commission to discuss just yet, but never say never. You never know.
Mhm.
So right now, what's programmed for this fiscal year, staff are still working on, and what's programmed for next fiscal year regarding that prioritization exercise is still the intent and going to be worked on.
Okay, that makes sense. I was just curious, there's been a lot of reporting of budget shortfalls regarding the state and different areas due to different funding sources from the federal government changes. I was wondering if the city was affected and if our department in particular was affected. So
Not that we're aware of on
Currently.
January 29th.
okay, sounds good. That's what I wanted to know. And then I think that's a great topic, Rebecca, regarding BBB. When is that planned to be back on the ballot? Is that this coming election?
We can go over all of that when it's an agendized topic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you guys this is why I'm here, I guess, is to keep you on track. So we're talking about potential agenda items for February.
Okay.
We're happy to cover that. In short, 2024.
Oh, okay. That's a long
Yeah,
way. Oh,
it
it is
expires
2024.
2028.
Okay, so I guess maybe, in this joint commission, we can maybe come up with a plan on how to do community outreach together to, if it sounded like you said it may be on the ballot this year, sounds like.
It will be on the ballot this year. Open space right now doesn't have a BBB allocation.
Oh.
So that is
Never
one
mind.
thing that I'm working on though.
Okay.
And so that's what I'll update both commissions on.
Oh, okay. Well, if that is the case, I think that would be a great opportunity to maybe talk about like how do we maybe get it out there to the public so we can share the importance. So that's it. Thank you.
One just thought, maybe for people that have no clue about the answer to this question, what is the difference between an open space and Parks and Rec? And where is their jurisdiction? Because it seems to me like those two Venn diagrams are very much on top of one another. What is it that discerns them from us? That would be kind of an interesting.
Yeah, I think staff can easily set up a kind of a joint presentation at the beginning to talk about how we as pros manage all of these city properties. What's open space, what's parks, what's recreation, what's events, like we can kind of go through all of that very quickly. We can talk about funding sources for both.
And the reason that I'm asking that is you got the part of this meeting was, is there a reason for both of these things to exist?
Commissions, yes.
And so if you ever did want to merge them or have more joint meetings, where would what would we do? What would they do? And what could we share responsibilities on?
And I think that's a really good agenda topic for both commissions to discuss.
Well, let's get that on the agenda so we can talk.
Good point, Commissioner Stackhouse. Thank you.
So I think, what we were hoping for here was that you all would give us some ideas of the information that you're wanting to know, and then we'll package it in a way that our staff presentations will go through some of those points, and then hopefully there will be some dynamic conversation about how to move forward, the benefit of these joint meetings, what you'd like to talk about at future joint meetings, how often you want to have joint meetings, that kind of thing. So I would say that could be a separate agenda topic as well.
Okay. Great. Thanks, Rebecca. Anybody else have any other topics that comes to mind?
I'll just say for the record, we also have in the chat a recommendation to discuss funding for improvements, signage, and maintenance, and I believe that was on the Foots Trails, right, Commissioner Martin?
Yeah,
And then also a history of open space and recreation. Do you mean funding on that?
I guess
Or
like
just the two commissions?
I guess like when the commissions were established and the original goal when those were established.
We can review that again very quickly. We just had that presentation not very long ago. I'm not sure if you were able to be there, Commissioner Martin, but we can review that very quickly.
That whatever works. Thank you.
Very good. If that's the end of that discussion, we can move on, unless anyone's got anything more to add. See anything? Yeah. In a minute. No? So we can move on. I don't think you said Councilmember Harris isn't here, so I think we can skip over the City Council Liaison Report. And then information items to and from commissioners. Oh no, monthly highlights of parks and recreation, open space and events. I see that you hired my neighbor as the new park ranger. That's a good
We have a
guy.
new park ranger.
You want to have a chance to review those and have any comments regarding the highlights? I couldn't quite understand the whole trail counting thing on this one. It was difficult to understand that one.
What was difficult on it?
It's the graphs that kind of went up and down.
I think it was a full year worth of data, if not mistaken.
Yeah.
Anybody else have difficulty reviewing that?
There's no units,
There are no units.
you know. It's and the zero is kind of cut off and there is no units.
Really? Let me
So,
try
I
and
guess it's
find this.
implied that it's people.
This was
but-
our, that's last December. This was our December one, correct?
I
Yes.
think so.
Let me try and find this for us. And let me
Yeah.
try and open that up so I can see what we're talking about. Please hold. Here it is. Okay. Because would love any feedback actually on it, especially if there's difficulty in reviewing some things. I'm going to scroll down to trail counts if that's okay. So here there were, so it's a snapshot and it's weekly averages. So should be 52 of these vertical bars going across on the chart. So that's each week. And then it's total color coded based on the location of the trail counter itself.
Mhm.
So for whatever week this is, I'm gonna guess that's probably somewhere in April or May. That week alone, there were over 14,000 people on our trails.
It would be nice to not have to guess if it's May or June or January.
It would be quite a bit, it's quite a bit of information. So honestly, if this is something the commissioners want, we can go into further detail than what this monthly newsletter describes. If that's something that we want, even if it's on a quarterly basis and not monthly, or if it's on an annual basis. There's a lot of data in there, and what it would do is give us a lot of images and information to scrub, honestly, or talk about. So we certainly can. We were on for this one, we tried something new. We didn't want to just do the pie-shaped dial for the month of December. Instead, we wanted to show the full year because it really shows, so if January, the first week of January is over here on our left, it shows how there's a little bit of slow progression, some big peaks, maybe some monsoonal activity. some more and then drops back down as winter comes into play. I think we would always see that type of curve occur or wave on our usage on this. But yeah, if there's more details wanted, we certainly can provide them. I don't know if we would in this monthly newsletter, but we could in other ways for the commission.
I don't think that's necessary. I'm just a stickler that there be units. What are we looking at? You know, like, so that's my only complaint. But other than that, it looks honestly really good, and I think you guys did a great job.
Yeah, I just didn't know that it was weekly. So that's the only thing I had to state. And some of the colors are so close that it's kind of hard to differentiate between what trails are what. But that's with my bad eyes. So, I'll throw that out there.
No problem. And if we want to, maybe quarterly, we visit and dive in a little more, or maybe twice a year, dive into the details of the urban trail usage and the trail counts that occur on them if we would like some more information, because on purpose, it's been planted the last handful of months is eventually we need to discuss at a budget level with city council a stronger maintenance plan for the existing amenity of the urban trail itself. So it could be a valuable discussion for commissioners to have at least twice a year.
I would
agree.
like that.
I agree.
Yeah, I'm a thumbs up for that.
Great.
Just checking, was that you, Commissioner Kerr? Or, I'm sorry, Co-Chair Kerr?
Yes. Yes, that was me. Yeah, I would love that if we could do that, especially if we're gonna start pestering city council for some maintenance stuff. So that's just my 2 cents.
Maybe
Okay.
a survey. There's only so many trails that we could use. Maybe the community knows something that we don't about a particular trail that is being used that we are not getting data on. Could be helpful.
Anybody else have anything to add to that? Awesome. Thank you, commissioners, for your input. Let's move on to information items to and from commissioners and staff. I don't have anything. Does anyone else have anything to report? Go ahead, Amy.
It was in advance for item 12.
Oh. Okay. Agenda items for next meeting. I think we've already gone over that, right?
We have for the joint meeting, but I don't want to use the joint meeting at the end of February to develop our March Parks and
Okay.
Recreation Commission meeting. So would love to do that with this item. That's why I wanted to raise my hand.
Okay. Very good. Anyone have any ideas? I don't have anything right off the top of my head, but
The only thing that is still rattling around in my mind, and it was mainly because I missed the first 15 minutes of November's meeting. There was something at the very start of November's meeting that had to do with affordable housing. And I reached out and tried to contact I forget her name,
Tiffany?
whoever did that presentation for us. I just wondered if I wasn't sure what that discussion was about. And so I don't know if that's something that I need to have separately with, I was going to reach out to Tiffany, and then my life got very crazy for the last month and a half. So I just wasn't sure what that was, what it had to do with, and why we were talking about affordable housing. And
It was
it's not
the
something we need to
zoning
discuss.
code associate. It was a Tiffany Antal is our zoning code manager in community development. And so it's pertaining to city-owned properties and zoning thereof, and parks and recreation parcels are zoned PF public facility. So it was also pertaining to that. I know Commissioner Stackhouse that things have been busy for you, and that our zoning code manager did respond that I believe she'd be happy to do a
Yes.
meeting or phone call, and would love to include either myself or Rebecca in that meeting. So maybe we just take her up on that offer when
Okay,
when it
and
works
I
for you.
just, I lost track of it in the last month and a half, and so I just was circling back and reminding myself that I did want to chat with her about what was said in that meeting, and because I just was, that was very, I was curious about what we were talking about.
And then I'll add on, I believe Amy responded
She did.
to you
It
with
was
some links.
100% me,
so that you
not
could-
following up. and it
But the
was-
link is so that you could review the meeting on, which is all on YouTube. So making sure you all realize that these meetings are posted on, the recordings are posted on YouTube, which you can access through the city's website for anything that you might have missed.
Whatever she sent me was through Teams, and I could not get it to come up, and so
Okay.
I didn't know that it was on YouTube as well.
Yep,
So
we do
that's
have these posted on YouTube.
very
as
cool.
well.
I didn't know that.
That would be an interesting topic potentially to bring up with open spaces when we have that joint meeting, to get their take on how they felt about that. I was kind of curious about that.
Well, their properties are zoned for open space.
I thought that
They're,
zone, I
they're
thought
not
the
all
zoning.
public.
Oh,
Yeah, they're not
that's right, it
public
was-
facility.
okay, my bad. Anybody else? Commissioner Martin, you have your hand up.
I do. I read the minutes and I haven't watched a YouTube video, but I would love to see some sort of progress on the West Side Park that has funding. So I'm gonna beat that horse till it's dead and beyond. So I would love to see that on the agenda. I would love an update because we have something that's funded.
I think a great agenda item for March.
And maybe budget, if there is anything to update, if there is any new news or anything like that. Since we'll probably talk about it in February, it'd be nice if we had the option as a commission to talk about our portion alone, if that's applicable.
What about an update on the playground replacement, or where those stand?
What was that, Chairperson Parsons?
I was just thinking, I don't know if it's worthwhile or not, but maybe a update on the playground replacements? Because you were talking
Sure,
about,
we can.
the
I want to say it
Ponderosa?
was either November or December. Did an update regarding the one that's funded for this fiscal year, which.
yeah, I just wanted to see if those were moving forward or where those just stand. So it's not a big update. It's just, trying to keep on top of things.
Sure, we could just have it as an item, and the content of it would be an update on the playground structure that's funded this fiscal year, that's already in process, and then, what staff have identified for next fiscal year. So
Okay.
that way the commissioners know which parks are getting upgrades.
That's good. I don't have anything else. Anything else?
Maybe to add on to that, Chairperson Parsons, is maybe just an update like on improvements overall. Like whether, because there is, in the 5-year plan beyond just, just beyond the replacement of playgrounds, there's the pickleball courts. And if that's been made any new progress or anything like that, something short, maybe we can just do it improvements for 2024 update. Just make it more general. And how much are we searching for agenda items?
I think with our 2 hours, it's probably wise to at least have 2 to 4 items. And again, we can start to build an agenda out because we've got some additional months. If not mistaken, I think we've heard from all of our recreation supervisors. However, I will ask Tyrone Johnson if he would want our newest recreation supervisor to present in March, or maybe that's April. It was the first recreation center we heard from a handful of months ago with now retired Matt Fall, and it's at Josie Montoya, but I don't want to put that on March because but maybe for the April agenda, so we can wrap up that part of the process. I see Commissioner Stackhouse, your hand is up. And so maybe March is packed, but I do like having a list of items to refer to as we're developing this agenda each month, so we can really start to map this out. Go ahead, Commissioner Stackhouse.
I was just gonna say, in terms of hearing from people, you made me think of that, the new park ranger that you guys have. I understand they may have just started, but maybe sometime next year, getting to hear from them, the boots on the ground, what they're seeing, that would maybe help us idealize some of our priority lists, so that, maybe maintenance is something that none of us really see, but maybe she, I think it's a he, I think he said he, maybe they know better, a way to help us prioritize better from some of the reports they might give, just a verbal report once a year or something like that. So.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Commissioner Martin.
Well, since you want ideas, it's been a while since I heard about it, but wasn't the cemetery doing like a beautification / like pollinator project for a while? We could always get an update on, see if there's anything new with that project.
Absolutely, yes, there's an existing large pollinator garden at the Citizen Cemetery that blooms its lovely flowers every year, as well as a handful of others.
Yeah, weren't they still trialing it to see which ones worked best in our habitat and stuff like that?
We did a complete trial conclusion. That was in, I think, 2019, and then started to implement what actually works in the subsequent years thereafter. So do have some of those identified locations throughout our park system and civic spaces.
Oh, okay, so that's been concluded. I didn't know if it has been or not.
Yeah.
Okay, that was it. Thank you.
Commissioner Heath, you had a question that you put in the chat. Do you want to jump on and ask that?
Oh, sure. I was just trying to be helpful and brainstorm some overlap topics. So I threw it in there. Just park in lieu fees, or parks and open space density bonuses. And I think the question about zoning made me think of that.
That's actually a great topic to educate you all on. Thank you, Commissioner, for that, because my brain is spinning with how we might be able to bring in some experts in that field. The short answer is no, we don't. We don't do that now, but it is something that I've been talking with council members about as a possibility. So I think it might be a good time to, probably not in the February joint meeting, maybe in a future joint meeting, or even just for a Parks and Rec meeting.
That is an interesting one. So maybe we could put that on the March meeting, March or April.
I think we might need a little bit more time.
Okay.
What is that? what is, so,
We'll educate you.
okay, well, I'm just like, what was that? I thought maybe she was speaking a different language when she said that, because I didn't understand a density. So anyway, I will wait to be educated.
Commissioner, would you like to explain your thoughts first?
I could give a shorthand, and you can, if you could correct me how that applies. But just in generally speaking, it's you know, when town, when council or when zoning is proposed, you're asking a builder to what you're trying to do is encourage and promote parks and recreation. So maybe, and it can come in many different forms, but maybe one example would be asking a developer to give back 30% of a parking lot back to parkland, or like that. And so that's an example of reclamation. You're reclaiming the 60s and 70s style, you know, shopping centers back to promoting density, and then bringing some of that back to parkland, maybe for environmental and for park. But it could look like providing trails through your business as well, or what you're building. But those are just two off the top of my head examples. If y'all have better ones, please.
Yeah, and there is some of that already built into the zoning code. For instance, some of the projects I'm working on, townhouse and apartment complexes, we are required to do common open space. It's 10% of the overall development. So,
Which is now called common space.
yep. Yeah, I know. But that's essentially what it entails, is just running a trail through your forest. So,
But yeah,
Mm.
we'd be happy to put together. I think that could possibly even be a whole meeting. Amy, don't you think?
I do. Yeah, that's a lot of information, and we need to include impact fees with that.
sounds like a good topic. Thanks for bringing that up. Anybody else before we move on to adjourn?
Commissioner Stackhouse said thank you for defining it. I muted us before he could say that.
She tries to keep it on mute. That's actually why I was asked in the office.
Not true.
No, I read email. That's why.
I'll leave it off mute for the rest of the time, so you're welcome to jump in.
Anybody else with any agenda items for our next meeting? See anybody's hand up? If not, then we can call it an early meeting and get out of here an hour early. So
Is that why
thanks.
this meeting was online? Because we predicted it'd be short?
No, we had a request and a conflict in our space here at the Aquaplex. So,
Oh,
felt best to accommodate it rather than rush a changing of the guard.
I agree. I was just curious. Thank you.
Well, thanks, everybody. With that, we will move to adjourn.
Thank you. Have
Thank
a
you
great
very much.
month.
All right.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.